Bush sworn in as president as Clinton bows out. Thousands march in support of Vauxhall workers. And Ericsson sees United charge 14 points ahead.
From ITN, the ITV Weekend News with Shuli Ghosh.
Good evening. George W. Bush has been sworn in as President of the United States. During his inaugural address, he pledged to build a single nation of justice and opportunity. But even as he vowed to unite the country, thousands of demonstrators were lining the streets to protest against his election. James Mates reports from Washington.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
With these words, the Clinton years come to an end, and America once again has a President Bush.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
The guns fired in salute to the new Commander-in-Chief. Among the first to congratulate him were now private citizens Bill Clinton and Al Gore. But for 500 votes in Florida, of course, this would have been Gore's day. A special greeting, too, for the first President Bush. The emotion of the moment clearly visible in the eyes of only the second man in history to follow his father into the White House.
Distinguished guests and my fellow citizens.
Then an inaugural speech which traditionally sets the tone for an administration. His was decidedly conciliatory.
And sometimes our differences run so deep, it seems we share a continent, but not a country. We do not accept this, and we will not allow it.
Then the old guard and the new walked out together, the Clintons driving out of Washington, but only far enough to make a speech promising the faithful that they hadn't heard the last of them.
I left the White House, but I'm still here.
But back in town, all the anger left over from the most contentious election of the century was boiling over into some ugly confrontations with the police. As the Bush motorcade drove down Pennsylvania Avenue back to the White House, it was greeted by a chorus of boos from thousands who'd come to protest at the election result. Bush and his wife Laura only got out to walk the last few yards. Everything about the start to this presidency has been difficult. Today was no different. James Mates, ITN, Washington.
James, did those protests take the edge off Bush's day?
Well, yes, I think they did, rather that and the quite appalling weather there's been here all day today. Traditionally, this is a day when you give the new man the best possible start, but that wasn't what happened today. The worst protest we've seen at an inauguration since the Vietnam War protest during Nixon's second inauguration in '73.
Well, what about his speech? How did that go down?
Well, reasonably well. It was pretty non-controversial and inoffensive stuff, very big on promises to try and reunite the nation. He did restate that he planned to try and enact all the major planks of his election manifesto, but I think people probably expected that. But it was certainly a conciliatory speech.
James Mates from Washington, thank you very much for joining us. Israel tonight agreed to take part in marathon peace negotiations with the Palestinians. Israel's Prime Minister Ehud Barak approved plans for the 10-day intensive talks to go ahead at a meeting with ministers. The negotiations are expected to start in Egypt tomorrow night. Here, Vauxhall workers are threatening a Europe-wide day of action over plans to halt car production at the Luton factory. Around 10,000 people from across Britain and Europe joined a rally today to try to persuade General Motors to reverse its decision. Harry Smith was there.
They came in their thousands and marched through the centre of Luton, a town which is soon to see the end of nearly 100 years of car making. But the messages they carried were for people much further away, at the headquarters of General Motors in Detroit.
It's easy, it's cheap to sack British workers.
Bill Morris, the leader of the transport union, was among those who addressed the rally. So too were the leaders of Germany's powerful IG Metall union, talking on a pre-recorded video link. And taking part in the demonstration were workers from Spain, Belgium and Germany.
While we are fighting for our jobs worldwide,
Just what General Motors in Detroit will make of all this European solidarity is far from clear, but the company will soon have a big chance to appease its British workforce. It's due to decide within the next month which plant will build the replacement for the Vauxhall Vectra. Ellesmere Port on Merseyside is regarded as a strong contender. Harry Smith, ITN, Luton.
Wardship proceedings have begun in the case of the two twin babies at the centre of the internet adoption row. Alan and Judith Kilshaw, the British couple who paid to adopt them in America, say they'll fight for custody. The case goes to the High Court on Tuesday. The political turmoil in the Philippines has ended peacefully with its new president, Gloria Arroyo, taking office. Former leader Joseph Estrada was forced to resign. He now faces investigation for corruption. From the Philippines, Mark Austin reports.
Tonight on the streets of Manila, there's widespread relief that weeks of political turmoil have ended without serious violence. But these people say if President Estrada had not quit today, there would have been mayhem. In the end, the army persuaded him to go quietly. The charges against him are countless: corruption, cronyism, womanizing, gambling and drunkenness, to name a few. He was ushered out with his bodyguards, family and dwindling gang of supporters through a back exit of the palace and onto a boat. Because at the front, the gates were under siege. Sworn in this afternoon, the former Vice President, Gloria Arroyo. In one of the poorest, most corrupt countries in the world, she faces a tough job.
And so bloodshed has been averted here, and tonight the people are celebrating the removal from office of a movie hero who in real life turned out to be little more than a villain. Another president who's plundered the Philippines and who may incredibly still escape justice. Mark Austin, ITN, Manila.
Animal rights activists are planning a mass protest outside the drugs testing firm Huntingdon Life Sciences tomorrow after it escaped bankruptcy. Anonymous backers from America came forward at the 11th hour to save the laboratory from closure. Protesters have vowed to track down and ruin the new investors. Princess Margaret is resting at Kensington Palace tonight after leaving hospital, where she was being treated after a suspected stroke. The princess was led down the steps of the King Edward VII Hospital, where she spent the last 10 days recovering. She's expected to join other members of the royal family at Sandringham on Monday. Sport now, and in football, the New England coach Sven-Göran Eriksson watched Manchester United move 14 points clear at the top of the Premiership with a 2-0 win at home to Aston Villa. Gary Neville and Teddy Sheringham scored United's goals in the second half. David Beckham was rested for the game, but Eriksson said he was impressed with United's performance.
They can keep the ball, they control the game. We were just in small problems at the end of second half, when Aston Villa had some good chances after corner kick and so on. But I mean, you can see why they are in the top of the league, why they are one of the best teams in the world.
Arsenal lost further ground at the top of the table when they were held to a goalless draw at Leicester. And it was a bad day too for fourth-placed Ipswich. They lost 4-1 at Chelsea. Gustavo Poyet got 2 of Chelsea's goals. Liverpool move above Ipswich after their 0-0 draw with Middlesbrough. Elsewhere, Newcastle came from behind to beat Leeds 3-1. And Coventry City slipped to second bottom after they lost 3-1 at home to Everton. Scott Gemmell put Everton on the way with the opening goal after 8 minutes. Kevin Campbell got the third on the half hour. In the other Premiership games, Derby and Manchester City drew 1-1, and it was a goalless between Spurs and Southampton. In tennis, the Australian Open moved a step closer towards an all-British final as Greg Ruzetsky joined Tim Henman in the last 16. Ruzetsky demolished Germany's Lars Bergsmuller in straight sets. Peter Staunton watched the action.
It's only a few months since Ruzetsky's injury problems were so bad he was thinking about retirement. But today he demolished the flimsy challenge of the German qualifier Lars Bergsmuller. Ruzetsky's confidence now so high, there was never any doubt as to the outcome of the match. He only lost 1 game in the first set and 2 in the second. Ruzetsky has remodeled his serve. It'll never again reach record-breaking speeds. But now there's less chance of his back injury recurring. And his all-round game has developed as well, under the tuition of the former Wimbledon champion Pat Cash.
Yes.
So Britain has 2 players in the last 16 of a Grand Slam event. Only the 3rd time that's ever happened. Tim Henman's match against Pat Rafter starting in the early hours of the morning.
That will do.
Peter Staunton, ITN Sport.
That's it from all of us here. Have a very good evening.
Powergen. Gas, electricity and telephone.
Hello, good evening. I'm afraid we're expecting some fairly severe weather over the next 24 hours or so, with a warning of some heavy snowfall. Now, it's a moderate risk for East Anglia, parts of the Midlands, Wales and up to the higher ground of Northern Ireland. Most at risk we see Scotland, the north of England and stretching down into the Pennines. We are expecting blizzards on the Scottish mountains and some fairly heavy snowfall as well. As far as tonight goes, it's clear skies with some patchy fog for eastern parts of Scotland as well as England there. Now already we see that cloud with rain, sleet and snow way out to the west. And during the course of the night this pushes ever eastwards, temperatures go up a touch as well and the winds begin to pick up into this sort of position by round about dawn. So straight away into tomorrow, and let's pick up on this area of cloud, rain, sleet and snow, pushing ever eastwards right across all parts during the course of the day. Heaviest snowfall of all for Scotland as well as the north of England, turning back into rain behind in the west and even some glimmers of sunshine in Ireland. Temperatures still a bit of a struggle, cold in the east, milder in the west. That's all from me.
Powergen. Gas, electricity and telephone.
Central Weather, sponsored by Staybright Windows and Conservatories. The clear choice in any weather.
Hi, our region in detail now, and our region is as action-packed as the rest of the country, with snow moving through during tonight and only slowly turning back to sleet, and then heavy rain through tomorrow as the temperatures rise much higher than they've been all year. The rain clearing to the east in the afternoon, but the action doesn't clear. What with the snow melt and the rain, flooding's our next problem. If it ain't one thing, eh? Take it easy on the roads. Snow tonight, heavy rain tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The new Central 10-day weather line, 09063 66 60 66.
They didn't escape from Inchloss Island, but there were tantrums.
You're not.
Tears and emotional heartache, and temptation struck. We tell it how it really was. The story from Inchloss Island, all 5 contestants live Monday on GMTV.
Seeking justice in the face of extreme prejudice, Tom Hanks stars in Philadelphia. Next.
You made of the car. Well, I'm not cleaning it.
I'm here 3 times a week. The weight just drops off.
Terrific facility. I mean, okay, it's expensive, but it's worth it.
Oh, yes.
This is hell, with strict lighting.
The membership fees are killing me. The only reason I'm slimmer is that now I can't afford to eat.
I'm actually bigger now than when I joined.
Only the real coffee taste of Kenko brings out the real you.
Well, I'm definitely not getting any thinner. I'm having the Pilates instructor's baby.
Ah.
Did you go to Bob's retirement drink last night? Oh, yeah. Retirement, eh? Haven't even started a pension yet. Just can't get my head round it all. Oh, tell me about it. Company pensions, personal pensions, stakeholder pensions. Exactly. You should get a guide. I'll lend you mine if you want.
You a guide dog now, then?
Oh, no.
If you'd like help understanding your pension options, call for the government's impartial guide, Your Pension.
Know your options.
You can't just put two people together and make them like each other.
Kevin Spacey. Sometimes there's nothing we can do.
Yes, there is.
Helen Hunt.
So you're scared? I'm scared too.
And Haley Joel Osment.
Give her another chance for me.
Pay It Forward. Previews this Sunday.
It's a marvelous morning this morning.
What's up, Millie? Mom, Teacher stole the milk.
At least you don't have to worry about who's done their teeth properly, because for the active family, there's Aquafresh Multi-Active. Multi-Active is an advanced antibacterial paste to help give strong teeth, healthy gums and fresh breath all in one,
Dinner money? Gym kits?
leaving you free to worry about other things. Aquafresh Multi-Active. Teeth taken care of.
Oh, thanks.
Kappa soup?
Extra. It's a spot.
Make sure you test drive one of Fiat's new cars this weekend for the chance to win a grand tour of Italy. Call 0800 71 7000 for your nearest dealer.
Which miniskirted property developer is Britain's richest woman? In tomorrow's Mail on Sunday, discover which mobile phone tycoon broke his neck go-karting but still made $1 billion. Learn why 23 of Britain's richest own their own football clubs. Who are Britain's richest 300? The Rich Report 2001, only in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday.
She's a murderer. She doesn't look capable. You don't know this well, Paul. You should try stepping outside the court sometime. You'll see what really goes on.
You said I'm nothing.
I took your advice. I did a grand tour of the red light district.
The guy's become a liability, Pat.
The Vice, Wednesday at 9 on ITV.
Tom Hanks gives an Oscar-winning performance now in a powerful and emotive drama, Philadelphia.